For my 50th birthday, some friends of mine bought me an amazing present. I mean, for me, it's amazing. Some people may not necessarily see how amazing it is. It's the Traintrackr, and it's this particular one is the London Underground large version. Now, there are different ones available. I have already unboxed this, but I've just packaged it back up again. First of all, to show how well it is packaged. So as you open up the box, you'll see that it is very well packaged. I was really surprised because they do send them through the post to people. So I'm going to just open this one up to show you what it comes like in the box. It's not very easy to do this one-handed, is it? Not really, no. So that's the main part inside the box. And then you open it up, and then inside there it comes in some plastic, and then in the bottom of the box you then get your power lead. So when you open it up, you get this here, and that gives you brief instructions as to what you actually need to be able to get it set up. Quite simply, all that you need is access to a standard 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, your board, and on the back there's a QR code. So you go to traintrackr.co.uk/setup, scan the QR code, follow the on-screen prompts. And also in the box you get a stand. Now this does come, it's a self-assembly one. Now when it comes, it is attached together, but I've taken it apart because I have used it. It is really easy to assemble. So you've got, effectively you've got 4 parts to the stand. So you've got those bits there. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to assemble it. So all that you do is that you just slot those two over each other. When I first did it, it was a little bit stiff and I was a bit wary about how easy it would go together or how much pressure I could put on, but it goes on quite easily, so that makes that stand. And then these bits here, you just literally just slide one in from one side there, like that, and then you slot the other one in from the other side like that, and there you have a freestanding stand that is really simple and easy to use. It's quite a solid thing as well. So in the box you get a fairly standard power lead, so you get just a fairly normal charger, and it is a USB-C on one end and a standard USB on the other. So if you wanted to plug it into a computer or any other device, it's just a fairly standard USB one end, and then on the other end, as I say, it is a USB-C. It is slightly longer than what you'd have for a phone, so personally I found it better to use the one that came with it than what I did to try and change it. Now the only thing I think is a possible downside with this particular one is that the actual power socket comes out of the side. So when it is plugged into a wall or a socket, and then you've got the USB into it as well, you'll find that any plugs you cannot add here. So I find it very difficult. So if it's on the end, it's okay. If it's not on an end, you might want to change it for one of the ones where it comes out of there or a different place. It's personal preference. I found a way of plugging it into the extension, but that is something I would say is probably, for me personally, is a bit of a downside, is the fact that when you plug it in, you can't have any plug next to it there. So once you've got your stand set up and ready to make, it's very easy to put on. literally, so that's like 3 legs. So you just gently put it down, and then it's freestanding, and you can put it pretty much wherever you want, wherever you've got space to do it. So when you very first plug it in for the very first time, all of the LEDs just go white. This is just to show you that all of the LEDs do work, but then once you've got it connected and set up, it then changes. Get in and away you go. So I'm going to turn it on at the socket, and so when it first comes on, you'll see there's little white lights coming on. That's what the lights are like when it very first comes on every time. That's basically saying it's loading. So as long as it's within a reasonable distance within your Wi-Fi and you're connected to Wi-Fi, as you can see, it's starting to load up now. Now, I do apologise, but every time I've tried to film this, the camera has not focused on it properly. And I don't know what I can do to try and to show you just exactly how it looks, because the lights are coming on and going off. The camera's trying to focus on it. But I think hopefully you'll kind of get the idea and it will focus. So one of the things I've noticed is, so it's got all the lines. This particular version has got the Elizabeth line on it. So you can see that the northern line is white. Now the main reason for that is because you can't have a black LED. The other thing I've noticed is the Bakerloo line. So the Bakerloo line is not brown. Again, to create a brown LED is difficult. So this is showing as orange. Things that I really like about it, so you've got the different shades of green. So you've got the district line is one shade of green, but then you've also got the DLR, which is a slightly different shade of green. You've also got different shades of pink. So you've got the Elizabeth line, which is slightly more purple. Then you've got the Metropolitan, which is slightly more pink, and when it's running as well, you've got the Hammersmith and City line, which again is another slightly different shade of pink. Things I have noticed in particular is things like with the district line and the circle line both sharing the same space, that quite often what happens is that the green overpowers the yellow, which is kind of understandable, or sometimes you get it. Now at the moment I can see that there is a yellow light and a green down here. Now as the trains move, it then goes off. The other thing to mention is that with the data on this, the way it works is that it pulls the data from a central site, so it doesn't differentiate whether the train is going one direction or the other. So it's a case of when the train goes into the station, it lights up. When a train goes out the station, it goes off. So another thing for me personally, where I think it could possibly be improved, is to be able to turn it on and off. I don't know if you see, you've got the connection. So it is literally just a USB-C, which you would unplug and then plug back in, which isn't really a problem. However, for me personally, I don't know how strong that is. And I thought, well, what can I do to protect it? Because where I've got it plugged in at home, the socket itself is behind something, and it's not very easy to be able to turn it on and off. So my solution is one of these. It's quite simply a USB extender. So you've got literally just a USB extender with an on-off switch. I don't know if you can see that. I bought this one from a popular online retailer. There's other ones available, of course. So for me, I leave the plug plugged into the wall socket, and then just use that, and then literally just on and off, which for me works better. But equally, that's more of it's a personal choice rather than you would have to have it. One of my other concerns was being able to sit in the daytime, because it's all very good and well singing at night time, everything's all off. It does light the room up very well. So as you can see at the moment, it is daytime. So it's not in bright sunlight, but it is daytime. It's enough to be able to have it on. You can probably see, if I move here, you can see like my shadow. So you can see that's just normal daylight coming in. it's probably not as clear in this particular room and particularly on the camera, because I know the camera doesn't show things up particularly well. And again, as I mentioned before, you can change the settings so that it can come on bright or not. The camera is not picking that up now. I promise you that is on, and you can see it in the daylight. I mean, obviously, you know, the bright, if it's daylight, you change settings to bright, and if it's nighttime, you can have the settings however you want. Just to prove that's on, I'm going to just quickly close the blind, and then hopefully you'll be able to actually see the lights there rather than the reflection. So, but you can definitely see it in the daytime, but definitely looks better at night time, and now it's gone blurry. As I said before, I do find it, the camera, I'm just doing this on my phone, so it's very difficult for it to focus. One of the things, it does come with its own sticker, which is a lovely sticker, and you can put it wherever you want on it, but I have chosen to not put it on there because I think, personally, I like it without a sticker, but again, it's a personal preference as to whether you use that or not. So thank you for watching. As I say, this is the Traintrackr. I'll put a link on the website, link below. I say this particular one is the London Underground large version, and as I say, there are other versions available. The main reason why I've done this video is because my friend who bought it for me was saying that I couldn't really find any decent videos about it, so I thought I'd make one. Thanks for watching.